Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos love to talk about their family and home life on Live with Kelly and Mark. However, on a recent episode, they began to discuss something a little controversial. When Mark made a current remark about their kids, Kelly suddenly made an interesting comment. She said it might be time they got some lawyers. Here is what Mark said and why Kelly thinks they need to bring lawyers into the situation. Mark Consuelos talks inheritance on Live. Mark Consuelos and Kelly Ripa discussed various topics on a recent Live with Kelly and Mark episode. Inheritance came up, and the couple discussed some interesting inheritance facts, including when pets inherited someone's estate. Hotel heiress Leonie Helmsley died in 2007. She was 87 and left $12 million to her dog, Trouble. Helmsley ignored every member of her family in the will, and Trouble enjoyed a life of luxury. However, Trouble died a few months later via ABC News. On a side note, a judge blocked part of this, only allowing the dog to inherit $2 million. Mark then mentioned that he might do the same thing with his property concerning his will. However, Kelly shot this down by saying, "You can't leave property to property," seemingly calling a beloved pet property. Mark dismissed this, saying, "I'm leaving everything to Lena, because you want to skip the kids. What is that? Generational skipping. Lena will appreciate it. Much more than our kids will appreciate it." Kelly Ripa says they need to lawyer up on Live. Mark Consuelos also said it was a great way to save on taxes by reducing what is left behind. Kelly Ripa also called it a great plan. She continued, saying, "You know what? Let's just cut to the court battle. Let's hire the attorneys now." Kelly and Mark were joking, but their conversation led to more discussions about their kids and their future now that they are all moved out and on their own. Kelly said some controversial advice she was given was not to reach out to communicate with their kids. However, she said it was terrible advice if they wanted a relationship with their kids. You shouldn't reach out to them with communication. You should let them reach out to you, Kelly said about the advice. If we waited for that to happen, I guess we'd never hear from said child again. The advice states that sometimes the kids want to make the first move when they leave for college. Kelly asked, "What if they don't make the first move? What if you have to make the first move?" Kelly looked at Mark and said it looked like they were doing it wrong. Mark and Kelly have 3 kids. Michael graduated from New York University in 2020. Lola graduated from New York University Tisch School of the Arts in 2021. Joaquin is a senior at the University of Michigan. What are your thoughts on leaving inheritance to pets instead of kids and grandkids? What about Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos talking about communication with kids? On Monday morning's episode of Live with Kelly and Mark, everything seemed business as usual. Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos walked onto the stage holding hands, flashing their signature mix of charm and mischief. The energy was light, the coffee was hot, and the studio audience was in full applause mode. But by the second segment, things took a dramatic and hilarious turn. One that had viewers wondering if daytime television had just experienced a daytime divorce. And it all came down to a chair. "Do we need to call a mediator?" Kelly asked, raising a sculpted brow at her husband across the desk. Mark laughed nervously. "What did I do now?" That's when she dropped it. "Mark, I love you, but it's time for lawyers." The audience gasped and giggled. Mark blinked, confused but intrigued. What kind of lawyers? Kelly turned toward the camera, already grinning. Furniture lawyers, property dispute attorneys, marital arbitration experts, because this is war, and I'm drawing a line right through the middle of our living room rug. As Mark groaned and put his head in his hands, Kelly launched into the story. And oh, what a story it was. Apparently, over the weekend, a seemingly innocent trip to a vintage home boutique had sparked a full-blown interior design feud between the couple. Kelly had her eye on a sleek, Parisian-inspired velvet armchair in a soft rose tone. It was giving Audrey Hepburn in a sunbeam, she described dreamily. It whispered elegance. Mark, on the other hand, had fallen head over heels for a hulking leather recliner that, in Kelly's words, looked like it belonged in a Buffalo Wild Wings man cave circa 2003. "I sat in it and felt peace," Mark said on air. "I'm telling you, it cradled me like a cloud made of beef jerky and nostalgia." Kelly countered, "It looked like something you'd win on The Price is Right during the Dad Cave Showcase showdown." Naturally, the debate escalated. Kelly wanted the velvet chair for the reading nook by the window. Mark wanted the recliner smack dab in front of the TV. The main TV, he emphasized, implying the existence of a sacred zone. "I told him, sure, you can have your recliner in the garage," Kelly said. And he replied, "Well then, maybe you and your French poodle chair can live in the laundry room." That's when I said the L word. Lawyers. By now, the audience was rolling, but Mark looked genuinely worried. "I didn't realize how deep the wound was," he joked. "Is this what finally breaks us after 30 years? A chair." Kelly didn't miss a beat. "Yes, Mark. And you better believe I'm keeping the couch in the settlement." Social media exploded the moment the clip aired. Hashtag Team Velvet and hashtag Team Recliner quickly trended on X, formerly Twitter, with fans passionately taking sides. "I'm with Kelly. That recliner belongs in a Guy Fieri-themed sports bar, not her curated chick oasis. Mark deserves to have a chair that makes him feel safe. Hashtag let men recline. Can't they just get separate chairs and call it a diplomatic seating treaty?" Some fans even began photoshopping mock courtroom sketches, featuring Kelly in a power suit presenting Exhibit A, a photo of Mark dozing off in the recliner with a nacho plate balanced on his chest. Others took it a step further. A Change.org petition titled "Give Kelly the Velvet Chair" gathered over 8,000 signatures in 24 hours. Meanwhile, one furniture brand cheekily offered to donate a his and hers combo. Velvet for her, recliner for him, harmony for all. But the drama didn't end with the chair. Kelly revealed that the disagreement led to a full-on silent standoff in their home for nearly 6 hours. "I ate dinner standing up in the kitchen," she said, because someone had claimed the dining chair was too close to recliner prime. Mark defended himself. "I was asserting territorial dominance, like a lion. A very comfortable lion." By the end of the segment, it was clear the whole ordeal was more comedy than crisis, but that didn't stop Kelly from milking it. "I'm drafting a marital furniture prenup as we speak," she announced. "No more bringing home surprise beanbags. No more leather that smells like BBQ. And for the love of design, no massagers in the armrests." Mark agreed, reluctantly. "But only if I get visitation rights on Sundays." Kelly pretended to think it over. "Fine, but supervised, and only after you've showered." Behind the scenes, producers later revealed that the segment had been one of the most talked about parts of the week, prompting dozens of viewer emails and calls. "We're seriously considering launching a recurring bit called Ripa v. Consuelos," said one producer. "They have the perfect blend of real-life chemistry and sitcom-level banter." As for the actual chair debate, in a follow-up Instagram story, Kelly shared a video of her lounging dramatically in the rose velvet chair, sipping wine and reading a novel titled How to Win Arguments Without Really Trying. The caption? "Victory tastes like upholstery and peanut noir." A few hours later, Mark responded with his own post. A photo of him triumphantly seated in the recliner, wearing sunglasses, surrounded by snacks. "I may have lost the battle, but I live in comfort." Hashtag Chair King. So while Kelly may have threatened lawyers on air, fans can rest easy knowing the only courtroom this couple is entering is the one of daytime television, and possibly HGTV if this furniture feud keeps gaining traction. One thing's for sure, whether it's over furniture, food, or foot space on the couch, Kelly and Mark know how to turn even the smallest spousal squabble into pure television gold. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.